So this is the third video in this Excel clone series, and in this one I added some additional prompt. So I will showing two of the things that I asked. So one was cell selection feature, just like in Excel, and then I asked it to install it as a Windows application. So instead of we doing node Excel clone dot node Excel clone dot sorry server dot js, we should be able to have an exe file that we can launch, and not just that, it should be an exe file that will be installable. So it will be installed in our machine, and we can right click on a file and see an option in the open with context menu. So for that, it suggested this site jsrsoftware.org. If you go this, it will let you download an inno setup, and through this it will create an installer for your application. So I had downloaded this, installed, it is already installed. This gives you an editor like this one, and the content of this file was also given by DeepSeek. This content, it basically takes that exe, takes the node modules and packages them and create a installable application. So if I run this one here, you can see starting the setup. So once the setup is done, it starts the installer. This setup is basically the exe file it created here. So inside the Excel clone, you can see an output folder will get created and a file like this Excel clone setup. So this one, it immediately launched. We can manually do this also. We can directly go to that and do, and we can do a finish. So it got installed. You can go to the C drive, program files, and it will be under x86, and then it will be present as this one Excel clone. And the next thing that was also working was right clicking on any file. That was a CSV. So let me go to D drive where I have that CSV file. So inside here, if I right click, I can see open with, and this Node.js JavaScript runtime. This is actually our application. So if I do this, it will still not work. There will be some errors that I can show. So how we can do that is, I'll manually go to command prompt, run it as an administrator. So inside this, I can directly run the Excel clone. So I'm doing this from command prompt so that any errors we will be able to see, and I can pass the file that I want to open. So I need to open up this test.csv file. So I select this path. See, it is still giving an error while reading the error reading from the file. So basically, it is creating a uploads folder just like our node application where it was we were running it from the files. So even in the program, one second, I'm having issues switching the folders while screen sharing. Yeah, so here it is able to create this uploads folder, but somehow it is not able to either upload the file here or read from here. So I'll try to see if I can fix it. Something I gave multiple prompts after this to DeepSeek, but its fixes didn't work. So yeah, but we have a addition now to our application. Let me show you that. So just like how I was doing it, passing a file name from here, I can run this node server.js with a file path. And if I do this, we no need to do that file up open menu. Whatever file that we provided, it copies it by default here. the content gets copied. This was what's supposed to happen when we had done the right click on this one, test.csv, and open with our application. But this didn't happen as we saw in the command line. That installed application is not able to upload to that C drive's program files location. Only it requires still some elevated permission than what that ISS setup gave it. So I think I showed you these changes or not. Let me show. So apart from this file, it also did changes in the package.json. In package.json, it added a build. So before I was able to do that ISS part, I had to run this npm run build, which will be running this command, basically package target, and this package was also installed using npm install. So this is something that is not in the dependencies because this package needs to be installed globally. So I have already done, but just adding it so you'll be aware. So you need to, for the installer part, you need to also do npm install g pkg, then only package command will be available. I already have it, so it will be installed, and then you need to do npm run build. After that, you can do the setup.iss part, which right clicking in VS Code it is not giving. Okay, I think open with might have that. No, it's not coming. So you need to go to that folder location where you have this application and setup.iss, like this one. You can right click, open with, and if you have the inno setup installed, you will be getting this option. And then from here you can do the compile, which we already saw. And yeah, coming to this feature where we are passing the file name as an argument and it was readable, it still it had more changes in the scripts. So I had to rename it to start.html from index.html because of one more issue that DeepSeek was not able to fix again, because it was giving it something from the public's folder, so it didn't had any handler for that one. And I had to, it added one handler, but in that one the if else condition was something where the else part was never running because the index.html was always coming from the public and not part of that handler, since those were the static files. So I had to modify that. So if you go to this, there will be a path for slash, or no, it's not in this one, the backend server.js. Here it will be. So this one. So I had to do some manual fixes here, and I had to use a single file for both the paths when it's loading from path CSV argument or without that. So I had added a additional script one in the start.html, this one, where it was putting some additional script, the server, which was, it was setting a global variable preloaded file, this one, and then there was already a function in this one, or a block, where this preloaded was checking if it is there, then it was calling a load file API to get the data. Now coming to the selection part, which I have not covered, I will just show the implementation. So for the selection, you can just double click, and while still holding, you have to drag. So double click, hold, and then drag, and it will do a selection like this, just like in Excel. So, you might be different, but yeah, you have now the ability to select multiple cells, and it supports Control C after this. These all are part of our code. This is not something that browser provides by default, and then you can paste it outside. But remember, if you have clicked a cell outside and right to Control V, it will not work, because while these selections are still active, the code is such that it references the range whatever the selection was made. So you have to remove this selection. For that, you have to double click again somewhere outside, so those selection go. Now if I do a Control V, that part will be pasted here. Earlier it was trying to paste on the same location, so there was no changes visible. So this is how it was implemented. Without this, the only option we had to do multiple cell selection was starting from this place. So it was basically copying the HTML table this way. And that will be a subtle difference because this one was a custom code. So if you do a double click here and drag, it will be copying it as a comma separated values. But when you do it like this is something the HTML's default. It will be a, just the data will be get copied and there will be new lines instead of comma. So that's it for this video.